The tale of Nizamuddin and his cursed shoes. Long ago in the city of Baghdad, there lived a man named Nizamuddin, infamous for his extreme stinginess. It was said that if someone gave him pure gold, he would secretly replace some of it with copper and keep the rest for himself. He drank water several times a day just to eat less, and he ate bread so stale even birds would reject it. One day, as Nizamuddin was passing through the market, a boy ran toward him and accidentally stepped on his feet. The boy screamed, "I've never smelled something this foul in my life." The shopkeepers nearby came closer, and one of them shouted, "Enough, Nizamuddin. These shoes must be crying themselves, wondering why their owner never replaces them." But Nizamuddin replied, "Oh, foolish people. These shoes are not just shoes, they are my pride, the proof of my lifelong hard work." Everyone knew the truth. He was just too miserly to spend money on new shoes. One day, while walking through the market, Nizamuddin noticed a merchant from Halab, Aleppo, trying to sell beautiful golden glassware. The merchant looked desperate, unable to find buyers. Sensing the opportunity, Nizamuddin cunningly sweet-talked him and bought all the expensive glassware at a cheap price. These could have fetched a fortune in the market. Then he bought some cheap perfume and filled the elegant containers, thinking he'd later sell them for a high profit. Months passed, and Nizamuddin didn't bathe even once. Eventually, when the stench became unbearable even for him, he decided to visit a public bathhouse. As soon as he stepped in and removed his shoes, it was like an emergency had been declared. The bathhouse keeper cried, "Close the doors before the stench spreads through the whole city." People covered their faces. One man even said, "This isn't a shoe, it's Baghdad's biggest calamity." Among the bathers was his old friend Jamal, who burst into laughter and said, "Brother, this shoe isn't footwear, it's a divine test. For God's sake, replace it." For the first time, Nizamuddin began to think maybe it really was time for a new pair. When he finished bathing and came out, he was surprised to find a new pair of shoes placed next to his old ones. He immediately assumed his kind friend Jamal had left them for him. Overjoyed, he wore the new shoes at once, unaware that they actually belonged to the chief Qazi, judge of Baghdad, who was also bathing there. When the Qazi finished his bath and saw his shoes missing, he was furious. He ordered his guards to investigate. They found the old, tattered shoes nearby and quickly realized that Nizamuddin had taken the Qazi's pair. They went straight to his house and arrested him for theft. Before the Qazi, Nizamuddin was sentenced to flogging and a heavy fine. Ironically, his old shoes were returned to him too. Beaten and humiliated, Nizamuddin was furious. He thought, "This cursed shoe is the root of all my problems. People insult me, I get punished, and all because of this shoe." He decided to get rid of it for good and threw it into the Tigris River wrapped in cloth. The next day, a group of fishermen were at the river. One of them felt something heavy in his net and thought he had caught a huge fish. But when they pulled it out, it was none other than Nizamuddin's shoe, now famous throughout Baghdad. Thinking it had fallen by mistake, the kind fisherman decided to return it. He went to Nizamuddin's home in the evening, but didn't find him there. Looking through the open skylight, he tossed the shoe into the house. But fate played another cruel trick. The shoe landed right on the precious glassware Nizamuddin had bought. The bottles shattered, and all the perfume spilled on the ground. When Nizamuddin returned and saw the mess, he was devastated. He cried, "What have I done to deserve this?" He had lost everything he planned to sell at a profit. And there, lying in the middle of it all, was that same old shoe. Boiling with rage, he said, "This cursed shoe brings me nothing but shame and loss. No matter where I throw it, it always returns." He decided to bury it in the ground forever. That night, under the cover of darkness, he started digging a deep hole in his courtyard. The noise drew the attention of his neighbors, who thought a thief was digging a tunnel to break into homes. They alerted the guards. Once again, Nizamuddin was arrested. The Qazi fined him again, and his remaining wealth vanished. From a wealthy man, he became a pauper. Broken and weeping, he begged the Qazi to free him from this cursed shoe once and for all. When asked why, he told the whole story. The Qazi laughed heartily and declared that from now on, the shoe had no connection to Nizamuddin. When the story reached Caliph Harun al-Rashid, he summoned Nizamuddin to his court. After seeing the shoe, the Caliph ordered, "Preserve this shoe in our royal treasury so that future generations may witness the peak of miserliness." Tears streaming down his face, Nizamuddin said, "Your Majesty, this is not my shoe. It is my companion." The Caliph burst into laughter and said, "Place this shoe in Baghdad's Museum of Oddities." And thus, the tale of Nizamuddin's miserly ways and his infamous shoe became a part of Baghdad's history. The story became so famous that children would jokingly tell one another, "Don't be a miser, or you'll inherit Nizamuddin's shoe, and then you'll know what misery truly means." Moral of the story: extreme stinginess always leads to disgrace and loss. Learn to give and live freely.